The life finder keeps Maev up. It was going to be a close thing.
And healing, what? Get out of, no! No!
Triple stun again. Big flanks coming out from the Blaze.
It's a death metal, though.
Death metal into the double, triple kill.
Welcome everybody to the the second matchup tonight. Reborn Knights White versus Reborn Knights Red, so sister teams going at it in the division. As you might have seen in the standings there, Reborn Knights White sitting at a lofty third place, while Reborn Knights Red not looking so hot in the standings currently. Got to make sure that I've got set up appropriately. Of course, I'm a scrub, so I'm slow. All right. When I can see the chat. Welcome. Yeah, let's take a look at the best divisional standings. My own team sitting at the number 7 position. Sad face. But a very close race in the middle here. Like, pretty much 4 teams tied for third place. Rowan Esports, Who Knows Gaming, Reborn Knights White, and Uncomfortably Numb. Soak Every Lane and Unemployed Gaming just had their matchup. I think Unemployed Gaming took the 2-1 victory in that set. So they'll be even further up the list there in the number 1 position. And yeah, let's go over the overview, as long as I did the update appropriately. And, yeah, there you go. I think coin toss was won by Reborn Knights Red. Went for first pick, so we got the map pick. It wasn't Alterac. I told them to go to Alterac, but we didn't go to Alterac. We went to Volskaya. I better switch that up. I wanted it to be Alterac. That's what I put in there. It was not Alterac. It was Volskaya. That's where we're going to be going. And hey, I had to make sure that we're all set up. I think we're still waiting on a couple members of Reborn Knights Red to show up. I mean, Reborn Knights White has had a really good season, and they've only been getting stronger throughout it. So, you know, they've taken some hard losses here and there, but you could say the same thing about Logical Decision. So, and in our last scrim, they kind of stomped us pretty hard, 2-0. So, given that's the fact, and Reborn Knights Red is a team that beat us 2-1. We actually have not beat a Reborn Knights team this season. Gives them probably the edge here. It would be at least what I think. But, you know, anything can happen. I don't know how these two teams tend to match up with each other. That's really what matters in the end. Looks like we do have a sub in, though. It looks like we have no Danebo, which I think is a pretty big thing. Danebo is very commonly one of the players I watch out for. Instead, we're going to have Mega Man Fan stepping in for Danebo. Switch that up. Surprised he's around. Fellow caster from last season, though. We haven't seen him around much this season. Is going to be the one stepping in. Then I'm going to let them know that I'm ready when you are. And we can get into this match here. Excitement! Hype! Hopefully we'll get going right away here. Welcome everybody to the stream. I hope you've been enjoying yourself tonight. Thursday night, always the spiciest night for NGS matches. As usual, I'll let you guys know. I will probably be streaming a bit more tomorrow. I imagine there's some casts I can pick up. So I'll actually take a quick look to see if there is anything that I can sign up for tomorrow. Everything looks pretty open, but it looks like I can only do one. Probably gonna do... Not all that many spicy matches. Probably gonna do Buff Chen versus Rush B. I'm gonna check to see if we're ready to go. Still not quite getting the R's in from Reborn Knights White. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna sign up for that one tomorrow. Looks like the spiciest match. You can catch me then. Hopefully I'll be on stream earlier than that, though. I think I'm trying to get some HOTS and Magic the Gathering in. So if you guys are interested in those kinds of things. Still waiting for the R's to go up. There we go. There are the R's from both sides. And we should be getting into the draft here. Oh, bad form on me. That was too early. Now we're getting into the Volskaya Foundry. You need to be wrapping that up, Dev. Okay. Alrighty here, folks. Let us see how this starts to turn out. And Kira's going to be the ban. Curious, I don't think we've seen Kira in this division. I was completely wrong about Heroic. Popularity at 12% with the 100% win rate. That might just be league-wide. In fact, that's probably what is throwing off some of my statistics here. In some of the cases where I haven't seen anything. In fact, if that is the case, then it was a 0% play rate on Valera in all divisions? No, that can't be correct. Yeah. So it has been played in this division, banned and picked. Just seems like an exactly same stat. Odd. Anyways, Medivh being banned out here. Something to watch out for on the side of Reborn Knights White. But it has not been working for teams in this division, that's for sure. Yaslo getting the ban here on Volskaya. These statistics cannot be correct. So I'm going to stop popping up the stats because I don't think that they're reflecting accurate statistics here. Something is wrong, that's for certain. We are going to see Anduin. I'm going to try this again to see if this makes any sense, but those stats were absolutely incorrect. That seems more likely, but again, it looks like an absolute repeat from last time. So I'm just going to stop it with the statistics. I don't think it's working out properly. We are going to get Rise on the Anduin. And in response, we're going to get Kooks on ETC and Silverjack on the Kael'thas. Both very big comfort heroes for both those players. Hey, thanks for the raid. Much appreciated. That must be coming off of DB Smiley's channel, so I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Welcome from Unemployed Gaming versus Soak Every Lane. From what I was able to slightly glean out of that, because I was casting, it looked like a pretty good matchup between the two teams. And I think UG came out with the victory, continuing to hold that #1 position. For a team that was concerned about being a B team at all, seemed to be proven that they're very much so holding that high position. They've been playing very well. I'm proud of most of the teams in B West Division, actually, which is my home division. Aside from my own team, which I feel have been underperforming. But, everyone feels that way when you're not winning, so. Sylvanas being banned out here. Good pick. Volskaya in particular really can be a problem with Sylvanas. The game goes late, which means those talent builds kind of start coming into play. And then, of course, it's the turrets. 60% on those turrets is really quite a bit. Yeah, I mean, Kael'thas has played a lot by both teams. So we do get Ninja on the Stitches. Stitches is definitely an interesting pickup here. Not something that we see commonly picked in B West, but strong nonetheless. Stam up on his signature Hanzo. It's a good pickup for him. DK Unleashed is going to grab his Rainer, and that is a scary pick from that guy. I sport a decent Rainer myself, but if anyone is as good or better than me in the division on that hero, it is definitely DK Unleashed. I mean, I imagine there's plenty of players better than me in the division on the hero, but he is very good. That's all I was trying to say. Mega Man is going to pick up the Li Ming. I like Li Ming here. This is one of her best maps. Lots of good positions and angles to get great damage in. Not a lot of heavy macro that you generally need your maid slot for, so a good pickup. I like it. And Stock gonna pick up the Thrall. Again, really both those heroes are very tailored to this map. I like all the draft that we got here. Alizar gonna pick up that Leoric. A very strong pick as well for him. And lots of comfort from both teams. No Lili from T'Pol this game, unfortunately. Generally a strong pick for her. For him? I don't know. And here we go, folks, into game #1 between Reborn Knights Red and White, the sister teams competing for those playoff spots right here and now. 2-0 domination would catapult Reborn Knights White into a position where they're contesting for second place against Soak Every Lane. Soak Every Lane did get 1 point tonight. Was them at 18 points, but a domination here for Reborn Knights White would put them at 18 points as well. And here we go. Let's get the graphic up. On the blue side, Reborn Knights White, we have DK Unleashed on the Rainer, Silver Jackal on the Kael'thas, Kooks on the ETC, T'Pol on the Lucio, and Alizar on the Leoric. On the red side, we have the aptly named Reborn Knights Red, we'll just go Ninja on the Stitches, Stam Up on the Hanzo, Mega Man Fan on the Li Ming, Rise playing Anduin, and of course, Stock at the bottom on his Thrall. And, there is going to be some pressure in the mid lane. Good wave clear on both sides. Nice and easily to close up. We're going to be looking for Stitches to get those hooks in onto good squishy targets. Great damage coming on Kooks there. He actually ate quite a bit there. Rotation good on both sides. No one significantly behind in experience. Thrall and Lyric dueling in the bottom lane. Until Thrall gets that level 1 talent, though, stacked up, it's not going to be in his favor. But it will once he does get it. He is actually quite good into Leoric, generally speaking. If they're not double soaking or playing hard macro, Brawl's actually pretty good. We do get a pause coming in, unfortunately. So just going to wait for that to resolve. Someone is having some issues. I like both drafts. I mean, they both have really good aspects to them. Stitches is not really a peel tank, but he is a big beefy boy, and he's got plenty of slows, especially if he goes Putrid Bile. So we're going to be getting back into this game here in just a moment. Alrighty, just about to pop in. 3, 2, 1. And here we go, folks. Into the meat of this match here. And nothing exciting has happened quite yet. Brawl just doing his best to stack in the bottom lane. And mid-top rotations. Do you have camp being picked up here by Reborn Knights White? And that same rotation is going to come in from Stock and Stamop here. Hopefully they can clear this fast enough to get the soak. Might miss a minion or two. Looks like they are going to miss one. I might have been in range for that second minion, but you know, those things add up. And we can actually kind of see right here, a couple missed minions here and there has cost Reborn Knights Red a little bit when it comes down to the experience. Some good lane pressure coming out. Just good rotations. That's what I've been saying for both teams, but definitely in favor of Reborn Knights White. Enough to get themselves about a third of a level of experience ahead, which it adds up again. That means the race to 7 is going to be faster, which gives them priority over the shrine. Especially if when you all come in equal, if you both have equal item count, like no one gets the support camp, then that small level lead makes a difference. Kooks, though, maybe getting rotated on. The hook doesn't come out, though, as it couldn't go through minions. And we're going to see the quick rotation onto the healing camp. They are burning that fast. Nice and quick. Let's pop up the talents really quickly just so we can see what we have here. Q build on Hanzo. Looks like we're going to be getting orb build from Li Ming, which I think on this map is actually not bad. Being able to sit back and shell. Into an area you're not going to get consistent value. Often actually gets you a bit more than even just the Calamity build's going to do. So here is a good double stun onto Stock and to Ninja. Stock trying to step up there. They do drop the turret, but he takes quite a bit of damage there, and that is unfortunately going against them. Turret down. Channel is in favor of Reborn Knights White. Experience is leveled out, though, which is good. That camp capture from them is actually really nice. Everyone's really low. We got good taps coming in from Reborn Knights White. Lots of poke damage coming in here, though, to the point where Leo has to go down. DK Unleashed is really low. Kook's trying to see if he can get onto Mega Man. Good hook, but no follow-up, and it looks like DK Unleashed is going to walk out of that somehow. I mean, it's actually pretty obvious what happened. They just didn't have the follow-up available off the hook, unfortunately. And that's going to make grabbing this very difficult. Anduin is going to go down. Double Flame Strike onto 2 targets plus a double bomb. It's going to keep the health bars really low, and the fact that they don't have an Anduin here means that this is just going to have to be given up, I think, by Reborn Knights Red. But you know what? It's not the end of the world if they do give this up, but giving up kills for it is not going to be good, and it looks like Ninja's also going to go down here, and so Stamop. So that's too many kills to give up, and I don't know if Mega Man Fan gets away. He's lucky that the trait was not proccing. DK Unleashed would have killed him with the AoE had that been the case. Those are the moments where you want to get that double shot onto that tower there. Maybe even take a couple tower shots for it, because he was kind of in range. Probably could have got the extra kill with the auto attack reset with the W. But hey, I'm not here to micromanage everyone's attacks. Min-maxing. Kook's super low, though. Like, he cannot stand up here. And with Lucio in the protector, it's still a risky spot to be in. especially with low mana. You can see his one power slide to get him out of trouble if they do get into trouble. But the rotation was very slow from Reborn Knights Red to respond to this, so that's going to be a well going down. Good pressure into the top lane. Protector's basically done what he needed to do. So they got some good, they got 2 walls down and a well. And that's really good for first Protector. That's all you really need to get out of it. Any more than that is generally putting you into a risky position to be engaged upon.
Now, we'll make adjustments accordingly.
But there you go. So game pretty handily in favor of Reborn Knights White. They sustained on the point very long. Through very, very tight fights. There were some points where those resets could have come in for the side of Reborn Knights Red and turned that around. But unfortunately, they just weren't in a position to really capitalize on the low health targets on Leoric and Raynor. And unfortunately overstayed and got themselves picked off. All of the sustained damage coming out from Kael'thas was enough. Good rotation onto Stamop. He does manage to get away. Drops the turret just in time. And now things are turning around. RKR looking to get some return damage here. Stamop knows he's going to die. He might as well just keep attacking in there. Just min-max that out. You're going to get hit by the Pyroblast anyways. You might as well see if you finish off the Alazar there, which they might still get the kill here, but the Power Slide comes in and keeps that from happening. But still a good trade for Reborn Knights Red. 2 for 1. I'll take that trade any day of the week. And catches them back up. You know, they still have a ways to go. 13s are definitely going to be in the hands of Reborn Knights White before this next objective, or close to. Which means they're still going to be a bit behind in that aspect of the game. That's going to be a kill onto Li Ming. Good rotation from Reborn Knights White. From 4 members. Catches a probably slightly out Li Ming, and that's going to be a kill. Yeah, there's no towers to retreat to. There's no wall to pop behind, so they're going to feel a little bit more confident stepping up there. There's only 1 fort that's going to do damage, and they got lots of mobility to keep them out of those situations. You got to watch out for those tower dives in those situations, and there's no towers to dive here, so sorry about a bit of lagging. I'm getting a tad bit of issues with that at the moment. You know, constantly being forced to play on Central means that I'm usually sitting at about 90 to 100 ms. And in replays, or in this type of thing where I'm watching it from as a spectator, it can often pop up above that. Oh, and Li Ming again getting caught out. The ETC finding the pick. That's going to be another kill. And those staggered deaths are going to hurt, especially coming up on the next objective. 13s are just about to hit here in 20 seconds on the point control. Means that we're quite a ways off from Reborn Knights Red from having that. They also are down items. Healing item, at least. Turrets were dropped by both sides in that one fight, so really only 1 healing item is available, and they're not going to go for turret. They're just going to go right for the channel. Take advantage of their level advantage. We'll see what Reborn Knights Red does, and they're doing exactly what I expected them to do, which is they're going to go over and steal this turret. But because that was scouted by Alazar, who shouldn't even bother being here, just give up the turret, let them have it. Walk away. And they're going to do exactly what I would do in this situation. Use that camp, use that wave advantage, use the fact that you know where they are and that level of talent here to make sure you push on this top fort. And that means you're going to be able to get mid for it and probably still snipe this bottom area with the objective. 13s are here, though, so now we're going to have to see if we can make something happen here on the sides of Reborn Knights Red. This is a low Alazar. He does drop Entomb onto Ninja. That's a great 2-man Dragon Arrow. Unfortunately, again, not able to find the kill, and T'Pol just walks away. That's an unfortunate turn of events there with that Dragon Arrow. That was a very close situation. We're getting the kill. We're not going to get Putrid Bile, though. Great 3-man mosh pit. It does get interrupted, but unfortunately, that is going to be the kills on Anduin and probably Stitches. No, he is a fat boy, so he's going to live through that. And that's going to be objective number 2, going to Reborn Knights White. Mid lane being pushed up. Good hook onto Kooks, but there's not really a lot of follow-up here, so this is going to be a dead mid fort. And that's exactly it. You might as well leverage the advantages you can get, and they are doing exactly that. And that's going to be 2 forts, 3 in the last couple minutes. That's going to... they do manage to poke them off of the fort, which is good. But the full front walls, and that's lane pressure. And the thing is, early lane pressure from catapults on this map can be a real problem. In fact, we already have one spawning here and one spawning here. Which means these lanes are going to be constantly pushed on their side. And when you start adding camps on top of that, it starts getting pretty scary, especially with the next objective being in the bot lane. A top camp with catapults is an absolute threat on this keep. 16 is going to be picked up. They're going for a risky play, I would say, Reborn Knights Red, and Stam Up getting over the wall just in time. But Ninja's not in a hard spot. They do manage to drop a great Holy Word Salvation, which does keep them alive a little bit longer, but again, they still don't manage to find those kills on the low health targets, and that just turns the fight very rough in their favor. They do finally pick off the York. It's a hybrid build. Instead of going for the Dominator going for the Triumvirate. And yeah, that's just going to allow them to have full aggression here. Camp stolen top lane. This is a scary spot. This does get picked off by the tower, though. They're lucky that that's the way that that kind of worked out. But they are going to lose tower or a turret here. And Reborn Knights Red still significantly off of a level 16. They should have it before the next objective, though. But given their position macro on the map, not looking good for Reborn Knights Red. And in fact, Reborn Knights White feeling confident. It's just going to push up here. Great damage onto the Gorge pick. Finally comes through. They get the kill they need. And the resets are going to come through. And RKR might have just turned some things around here. As I'm talking about the inevitability of this match, they turn around and get 3 easy picks. Nice Gorge, hook into a wall. And that's the thing, they punished them for being overextended, and now they can turn around, push up this lane, equalize this this bottom fort, and that actually makes this next objective easier for them to deal with. And I think that also means, no, they still have a turret, so good on them holding onto those items for Reborn Knights White. And yeah, Raynor just making sure he's getting all of this macro pressure. With the catapults, it's just going to keep pushing in. Top lane's going to definitely be a bit of a problem here. And they're just trying to force a response out of Reborn Knights Red, which of course they're going to have to give some sort of response here. Ming's going to get the channel. Thrall is going to go clear that camp, and when he does, they're going to have to back off of this. Or they're going to gamble and not clear the camp, which will lose them a keep. And they see Thrall split. They get the power slide onto Li Ming. Does get the leap of faith, but that's going to be a good flank from Kael'thas. Although, when going for the Pyroblast, the Dragon Arrow to try to peel him out was really good. And I think they're still going to get the kill on this. No, he's going to peel himself out just barely. That Dragon Arrow landed. He was a dead boy, that's for sure. Pick on Li Ming, definitely going to put things in a bit of a bind for RKR. 25 seconds, they can still stall this out long enough for that, though. Very close, like, almost got that pick onto Kael'thas. It was a close thing, but Anduin definitely out of position, is going to get the kill there, and the stagger death here is not what you want to see on the side of Reborn Knights Red. Sorry about the lagginess of the stream, guys. I apologize for the way it is at the moment. There's not much I can do about it. just seems to be one of those nights on Twitch. I might be able to sort out something. Just need to close this down. And that probably helps. Well, level 20 is in the hand of our Reborn Knights White. Front wall gone. This could be a problem for them when it comes down to the game. Nice fishing hook attempt. See if he could find somebody. But even if you get the Gorge in there with Lucio, they're going to be able to catch up to you. We do have Mithril Mace and Spectral Leech picked up here by Leoric. Interesting build. Going for that long sustained extra damage. Might as well take a look at the damage numbers. And they're actually doing really well with that. It's good into... oh, that was a nice power slide again. Li Ming not having a great game, finding another pick. And Silence and Tomb on Hanzo. He's going to get hooked out, barely survives due to the 2 attempts from his teammates to save his butt there. And he does live. Interesting pathing for the Protector. Might as well take some free shots from the keep for who knows what reason. They're going to go for core here, though. Stam up and pressured hard by Kooks. And I don't think he's going to find a position here to find a pick onto the Rainer. Damage coming out too hard onto Thrall. It means that this is going to be game number 1. Reborn Knights White coming out with the victory here. GG's. Well played. Someone steal your spot. Okay, she should cuddle you. Alrighty, those are the end of game statistics. We saw a great macro control coming out from Kel'Thas. Of course, probably slightly inflated by the Protector, but good nonetheless. DK and Lee showing why he's good on that hero. Again, damage numbers themselves aren't what's good. It's getting that effective damage, finding those kills consistently, and we did see that definitely come out from Reborn Knights White. Mega Man fan just not having a good match. There was a lot of situations where he was able to get picked off by ETC. Well, he can clean up the positioning into game number 2, and we can get a bit more out of them in that matchup. Those are the talents for you. End of the game. Alrighty, we'll be right back while I sort out game number 2. Welcome back to game number 2. We're all getting ready inside the lobby. Should be pretty quick. We will be going to, you guessed it, Alterac Pass. So I made a thing about this in the CTMP, and they said it's all right if we lose if we win or lose. I can't remember. I think Reborn Knights Red said if they in the next map they'll go it. I don't think they picked it this time, but Reborn Knights White honoring that. It's going to take us to Alterac Pass, which I think is just awesome. So it brought me to one of my favorite maps to cast. I enjoy this one quite a bit. It is one of the newer maps. It's a Warcraft map. It's got all of the elements that you want to see in a map. Like it. Gotta remember my hockey's back. And we should be ready to get into game number 2 right away here. Oh, it was map pick from RKR. So they are the ones honoring it. Fantastic. Alrighty. Let us see how this goes. Again, I'm going to stay away from the stats thing. It probably needs some sort of reset and why we were having a bit of a problem there, so. Did you lose your kitty? Let's get a pet her more. To give you purrs and licks. Really waiting out this time, and that's going to be Gazlo. And Kira. We're going to be seeing lots of those bins. It's too late in the season to bank on a new hero. A lot of the time to pick up victories, unless they really spam it and you've got somebody that you know can pick up the hero and play it well. It plays well into their playstyle or whatever the case is. She is very strong, so it's still a risk, and that's the thing about why it's going to get banned out a lot here. So teams aren't going to want to play into it. And even if they do play it and respect the power, they're not going to let it go over top of the things that they're feeling more comfortable in, especially the lower down you go into, you know, when you're in like BA. Heroic will feel confident enough to do it. C and D will do it just because it's Division C and D and they don't mind doing those kinds of things a little bit more frequently. But with B and A, almost certainly you're not going to see a lot of Kira being played. Either because of bans or no one really feeling confident enough on the hero to whip it out. ETC is going to be banned. It was a very strong hero, as we can see time and time again. ETC comes out with very high statistics. But that's going to leave Silver Jackal to take Sylvanas. And on this map in particular, Sylvanas is a very strong pick. Junkrat Stukov is going to be our pickup here, and I like it. Junkrat, I think, is fantastic on this map. And Stukov definitely has plenty of ways to get value here as well. Also a pretty common pickup for Rise. So it's also a comfort thing here. Really taking their time with their picks. Garrosh. Kooks on Garrosh is always a scary thing. And on this map, that is a great hero. And we're going to see the Ragnaros come out. Big map, lots of lanes. Lava Wave gets lots of value. Although, with this team in particular, I think Alizar tends to go Sulfurous, which I actually prefer. I think despite as good macro as the Lava Wave is, really well played Ragnaroses with like good timing on the Sulfur Smash just flat wins fights. Like, it just absolutely deletes heroes. It's one of those things where you're just like, oh, I'm remotely low in health, and he just kills you with a Sulfur Smash. It's just nasty. Lucio was enough of a threat in the last matchup to warrant a ban. And Kael'thas being banned by Reborn Knights White. Now, I think that's mostly because Silver Jackal plays the Kael'thas. They don't want it to go to the other side. think it's fair, as I do think that Mega Man Fan might be a Kael'thas player. I'm not sure though. But we're gonna get Zagara. Now this is definitely not what I commonly see. Zagara is a pick that's generally only played by logical decision in this division, pretty much flat out, and generally only on Dragonshire. So interesting. I like it though. I think it's a good pick here. I think there's lots of advantages, especially with what do you call it? The Nidus network. Again, comforts are always good. Hana, high pick rate, high win rate, very good hero. Now we're seeing Valera come in. It's also a DK Unleashed special, and Ana. Oh, and Varian to top it all off there for stock. Now, if I recall correctly, they are generally a C-Smash team, which I actually really like. C-Smash. Of all the current variations of Varian, I think the most viable in a lot of compositions right now is actually C-Smash. And it's good into things like Garrosh for that armor reduction. Especially if you don't have Tyrande or anything on the team. The C-Smash is good. A lot of good burst damage, great armor reduction, can actually do a good job in killing Garrosh's, right? You know, especially if you get him poked down really low. So, and they've got a lot of poke. That is definitely what this team has going for them for sure. So here we are, folks. Game number 2. It's not an off-lane Valera in this particular instance, as DK Unleashed typically plays it in the format for picks. Ragnaros will be doing the off-laning, but it is also one of those maps where you kind of have 2 off-laners, so it most likely will be Valera in one of those lanes, so it makes sense. I wonder, though, if you're correct, John Knight, in the sense that you probably want Valera versus Varian and Ragnaros versus Zagara. But anyways, doesn't really matter. Looking on the blue side, as the graphic has already said, we have Reborn Knights White looking for the 2-0 domination. Kooks on the Garrosh, Alizar on the Ragnaros, T'Pol on the Ana, Silverjackal playing Sylvanas, and DK Unleashed on the Valera. Now on the red side of the map, we have Reborn Knights Red, aptly named, Stamop on the Junkrat Ninja playing Johanna, Mega Man Fan on the Zagara, Stock playing Varian, and of course Rise on the Stukov. So no, it looks like they are going to roam a bit with DK. And it will be Sylvana splitting up in the top lane, and she's going to take quite a bit of damage here from Rise. Take a look at the level 1 talents, and it looks like that is the case. We do have Spine Launcher coming out from it. I think that's been taken more and more frequently these days. The Spine Launcher does have a lot of great value with that slope. It does mean his siege damage is significantly less, but his team fight's pretty good because he can safely sit there auto tech. It's not a bad talent at all. And Stukov doesn't want to be dove, especially not by a Valera. He's roaming between all these lanes really far. Zagara is being challenged in the bottom lane by Garrosh and Ana. I feel like it's not the most efficient laning situation. And no one has focused even a tad onto these camps, which I think is a bit of a mistake here. And now Zagara is going to go over and grab these camps. We're going to say the same timing on Silverjackal as it's approaching time for objective. So I guess they've decided to go for it now. It'll be 3 minutes on objective, so these are going to be cleared up and no option to push it during objective. Yeah, because once it hits 2 minutes 30, we're going to get the countdown timer for the objective. It is Twin Blades. I guess it makes sense. But I really think C-Smash works into them. But now Stock's in a bit of trouble here. Nice job at getting him revealed there. As if DK Unleashed gets on top of Varian in that situation, even with a good burst heal from Rise, he's probably dead. Especially since both of them were there. Both Ragnaros and Valera. So the follow-up plus the stun would have been significant. So mid-camp was cleared up very well by Reborn Knights Red. And it's now being finally cleared up here by Reborn Knights White. And that's kind of what I was talking about. The value of that camp not getting as much as I'd like. And unless this objective goes really long, there's not going to be a lot of chances for that to kind of come back to them again. But we see an interesting choice here by Reborn Knights White. They're going to use the close lane here to the objective and see if they can siege up a little bit using Sylvanas. Not a bad call. In contrast, on the other side of the map, we have Zagara, and while they were doing that, Stamhop walks over and sneakily grabs a bit of percentage on this objective. Pretty good. I mean, that's going to be, what, a 15 seconds almost? 13-second channel, but Johanna does go down, which I somehow missed. And that means the channel's going to come back in their direction. Junkrat could stall that out without walking up close to Garrosh. They do get the channel through, though. Now it's going to get zoned out, and Zagara's still in the bot lane, so I don't think that they're going to be able to convert this back, even with Johanna respawning in time. But Zagara is getting good work done in the bottom lane. So we'll see if they can stall out. They have 10 seconds to do so, and no one to stall out Rise. Rise does manage to get this. I think it's going to be full channel. Nope, DK Unleashed comes back here, but he might be in trouble. It was just enough just to see if they could get this to stall out. And they do stall it out, and this is actually really good for Reborn Knights Red. It means that Zagara's value here being split is actually very good. And that's going to be a fort pretty much gone. The rotation's not coming through. They are going to push in here on Stukov, and he's probably a dead boy. I don't think he lives through that. Unfortunately, getting picked off there kind of mitigates that advantage that they managed to grab here. That's just a bit unfortunate. Yeah, they're not going to be able to stall this out any longer. That's going to be first objective going to Reborn Knights White. They're going to lose bottom fort, and experience is definitely in favor of Reborn Knights Red, but losing objective on this map isn't the same as losing it on other maps. You can mitigate the first objective, but with Sylvanas, they can really push out this top lane, and that's going to get a fort. Now, it might be fort for fort situation, because Zagara is still uncontested in the bottom lane. But no, they're going to rotate out. It looks like they're going to go for mid lane. Nice throw onto Johanna. Shield's going to be popping off here in just a second. Yeah, they're going to push out mid lane. And that's all right. I think mid lane isn't ideally where you want to push out, but at the same time, it's okay. DK Unleashed seeing if he can get on top of Zagara here, who was distracted, and it might be long enough to get the kill, but it is on tons of creep here, so kind of hard to track down a Zagara when she's got this much space to move out of the way. But mid wall is gone, mid fort wall is gone, top fort's almost dead. It does actually go down. So fort for a fort during this exchange, though I would say structurally we do have a bit of an advantage here on the side of Reborn Knights White. That's what I was talking about with that objective. Giving up early objectives on this map can be a real problem. Still lots of places to come back. Reborn Knights Red are not out of this by any means. In fact, they do have a small lead in experience, which has converted into a level 10 advantage, but the rotation was not good enough, and we didn't see Blessed Shield get ripped there, so they do not get the kill. They are going to Twin Blades Varian this boss, which he can very well do. Early bosses on this map aren't great. We're going to see the rotation come in, and it is going to be a 5v4, but Garrosh is split away. So we'll see how well this goes. Garrosh is here now, though. I think that this hard commit by Reborn Knights Red is a problem. That was a great throw into a stun, into a taunt, into a kill. One. Is Varian going to get out of this? Stukov went down. Kooks actually gets traded out. This could be... Oh, the stun gets the kill on Johanna, though. And that's going to be free boss for... Well, it wasn't free. They traded a Garrosh for it. Uh-oh. And that's going to be pushing up on Keep Wall. So it's weak, and it's risky for them to push with this. Like, that rotation is not the one you want. But it is going to give them a bit of lane priority here. We did have a mid camp pushing in, which was cleared up by Zagara. But that's still going to turn into a fort loss in the mid lane here. Reborn Knights White continuing to further that lead that they did get here. They are now evened out in experience, if not slightly ahead. With the fort loss, that's trickle experience as well. And they're going to get the initial channel and be able to defend through the chokes. Now, this is always an aggressive position. They are going to stop up, look for the delay. Dukes is going to walk right into them. Taunt is going to go down. Silence out on Valera. This might actually be a problem. DK Unleashed is going to get picked off here. And Reborn Knights Red looking like they might be turning around this fight a little bit. Stock is now on Silver Jackal, and he has no escape left onto him. But he is going to manage to get away with the silence. Kooks does get a nice respawn of life there with Bloodthirst, I think they call it. But that does mean objective is going to be channeled for Reborn Knights Red. We do get the stall out on this a little bit longer. Stock is going to need to go get some minion kills so that he can get his health bar back. There goes the Ragnaros ultimate to help try to mitigate this out, clear everyone out long enough, and that Sulphurous Smash comes in onto Rise. He gets really low. They do stall out the objective. Sylvanas almost dying there, but she did back away. Now it's Ninja that's in a bit of trouble here. They do manage to retreat back to their only remaining fort. Tap's coming in on Stock, but they don't have the Riptire up for another 7 seconds, and that might cost them another channel here. And that is exactly what happens, and they should be able to stall this out, especially with Zagara split again. I don't really approve of this at all. If he was going to be coming back into the fight, I'd totally be okay with him grabbing that little bit of extra experience, but yeah, I really don't like this. 4v5ing it into another objective loss, and again, as these stack up, it gets even harder. Although they might be able to get a kill on Elazar, and that's perfect. If they do manage to get kills here, that's going to be a good spot for them to be in, and I don't know if they can get this kill. Riptire took a little bit long to get something done, but I think they're going to get the kill on Valera. They might still be able to kill Kooks. Junkrat trying to get some pressure in here. But yeah, this mid one's going to be pushing up on this mid wall, but Zagara is there to deal with it. Very low on mana, though. The kill on the Ragnaros and then the kill onto Valera was very good. It did mitigate out this loss on the objective, and that's good. Like, that's exactly what they're looking for. I still don't necessarily approve of the Zagara. Had the Zagara been there, they might have been able to save the objective and get a heck of a lot more kills. But, say la vie. They still have this one good bastion of hope here on the bottom lane. Junkrat being pressured a little bit there, but using that Ripper Air to reposition himself. And a good engagement there by Valera. Riptire comes out, puts a lot of pressure on the Kooks. He gets a throw there. Good taunt. Follow up with the silence, but it wasn't enough to keep him alive. That's the one thing about taunt, is he's still going to auto attack you, and Twin Blade's variant is still going to heal off of the auto attacks. So it's not always the best situation for him, and they do get 3 kills there. So Reborn Knights Red really coming into Alterac Pass and making it look good. Maybe my suggestion of the map for them to play this was really good. Stam up though, looking to int, almost dies. Somehow doesn't. I think he just didn't get hit by the towers. He was just a tiny bit out of range of it. But yeah, Zagara and Varian are going to do a pretty easy cleanup here of this boss. And that's going to push up into the bottom lane. And I think that they'll do what they can to get some value out of that. Kooksn is back. He does get a taunt onto Johanna, who just trades out of it. And yeah, things going really well for Reborn Knights Red. Yeah, you're correct, Zul rules. When you've got a Zagara and you're winning 4v5s, it makes that pick better. But they're going to push up. They're going to hard push this. And I think that's the right call. Bosses don't get anything on their own in this map, but they definitely can when you've got a lot of good siege damage. Ninja getting thrown out. He got stunned out there by Valera, but this zoning is very good. That's going to be Ragnar's. No, just burn him down. Just burn him down. No, you don't need to retreat there. And that might actually not guarantee this keep. Good Riptire, though, gets lots of damage onto Silver Jackal. They are going to step up. I think this keep is actually going to go down. Great pressure there. But look at this mid lane. These camps cannot be ignored. Zagara's going to come in and clean this up. One saving grace there is that cycle on that camp was very well done by Reborn Knights White. And it's definitely, these mid camps cannot be ignored. They do so much damage. By themselves, they will get this keep. We are now back to even talent tiers, so a chance for Reborn Knights White to turn it around. They have been the ones getting the objective, but the last sequence of events have really gone against them, and they are 2 levels behind. And down a keep, which means the structure advantage despite fort count. Actually, and fort count is actually even 4-4. So they have a keep versus 2 forts. So they're going to step up here and get the initial channel. They might be able to stall this out. Actually, Rise is in big trouble, but a good positioning by Johanna keeps him alive. That throw comes in. They would be in big trouble. It's going to be 5v5 here. DK Unleashed is stopped from getting behind by the by the Nidus Network node. Stock those super low. We're going to get Riptire coming out here. Maybe a little early, but the thing is this is a long cooldown timer. He's looking for that DK Unleashed. Good damage onto Silver Jackal is going to drop them pretty low. They should be able to pick up the channel here. Alazar going to do his best to stall it out, but it comes out too late, and they will be able to at least get the first few seconds here. 19-17. All the ultimates are out except for Taunt and Sulfurous Smash, which is a good combo. We get a good Taunt Sulfurous Smash onto any targets. Nice flank there with the Silent coming out from DK Unleashed onto it. There's the Taunt. There's the Sulfurous Smash. That is probably going to be the kill onto Garrosh. Okay, not exactly what I expected from that fight. That was a really good combo and got stock extremely low, but the kill did come out. There goes Johanna, though. It was pretty low. Didn't get the heal up. But it's just not going to be good enough. This is going to channel through. 10 seconds left. They can definitely stall this out longer. And Stock lives through it. There goes the kill. Silence. Alazar super low. The Junkrat's going to be able to pick off the kills. He might be able to chase down T'Pol here, though it's a little bit risky here. There's a fort there. So, stem up. I was going for those really aggressive plays with the Junkrat, which my own coach got on my case about doing with Junkrat. Where it's not really playing to his strengths in some of those situations. So they're going to push down top lane, and I think this is the appropriate choice. As we saw, when he can leverage those bosses in, especially with 2 keeps down, that can end the game. It's going to get cleared up. Bottom's going to go right onto the core, and that's still threatening to some degree here without it being approached. But generally speaking, one of these isn't going to kill the cores. But they do have catapults. Or whatever I want to call those things. So this is going to get cleared up. Boss took a lot of damage. They didn't get a keep out of it. I'm sort of disappointed by what they managed to achieve here with the objective. Mid got cleared out pretty easy. They didn't really push up hard into this keep. Taunt comes in. They might be able to get the Sulfur Smash combo. There goes the Ragnaros ult. No one looking to stun it out. They get 3, and Stock is in trouble. There's almost no world that he gets out of here alive, and that's exactly what happens. It does go down. DK Unleashed almost died, but they're going to have to peel out of this. And unfortunately, that means any major boss play into the top lane, which I was expecting them to do with that level 20 advantage, isn't going to happen. And in fact, we might see it instead come out from Reborn Knights White. So camp's going to be picked up here as they are down 1 member, so they might as well go for what they can on their side, the safe side of the map. Boss is getting pressured here. We could see a rotation from Reborn Knights Red onto this to see if they can get something done, but with Ragnaros coming up from the bottom lane, they're really just going to help them clear it. Oh no, this choke is not good. We're going to see Ninja go way in, but Kooks is super low and he might still go down here, but it is Ninja who gets his thing popped. And that's going to be 2 kills. Ragnaros does go down. Stemop's going to survive. Varian is back up. Kooks is low. Boss did go to Reborn Knights White, and they're really looking to turn this around. Bottom lane, though, is a problem. And Zagara could easily split off there. Just sacrifice this keep. They can't end the game on this. It's a risky play, any way you look at it. Mid-fort's going to go down to this lane pressure. This lane pressure is really good. I mean, this has to be cleaned up. This can take a keep. So, I honestly think that this is the only play that you can make. Makes sense? But objective is going to start going towards Reborn Knights White. And in a game we saw Reborn Knights Red significantly head into that boss throw was unnecessary, really, in the end of it. Like, they almost got Kooks. If they got the kill on the Garrosh early in that fight, things might have been a little bit different. But they went into that 4v5 with not much left on their level 20 advantage. So a bit of a scary situation. I think that this objective is going to go to Reborn Knights White. It's going to be hard to get the stall here. Going to try their best. Duke's getting pressured hard, though. That's another Riptire. Oh, man, the Bolt of the Storm is keeping Silver Jackal alive. They do get the stall out. DK Unleashed trying to get out using Smoke Bomb to do so. Or did she? No, she didn't. Yeah, she did. Had to use Smoke Bomb to stay alive there. This big wave in the bottom lane causing lots of problems here. Now we're going to see the channel probably coming up from the side of Reborn Knights White. Ragnaros ult going to be popped to help stall this out. They only need 7.3 seconds left on it, but if they lose a fight here, things could go pretty bad. Looking to see if they can pick off Junkrat, though that's not the easiest target to lock down unless you really catch him sleeping at the wheel. And we're kind of in a bit of a stalemate. The lane pressure should favor Reborn Knights Red in the bottom lane only, which we are in the bottom lane, so it's easy enough for them to kind of pop out of lane and kind of pop into lane and clear that up. Yeah, definitely a stalemate. This is the thing. what I love about this map is what the strategy demands you to be aggressive on one side of the map or the other. What they need to do here is find a way to get a macro advantage. Being aggressive here is a problem. In fact, Stock is going to get pressured in. He does get taunted. He does land his Protect, though, to keep himself alive. But it's Rise now that's in big trouble. Unfortunately, it did not come through, and now the sustained damage is going the other way. Kooks drops low. Silver Jackal making a desperate play to see if he can get the pick onto Rise. Isn't going to happen. That's going to be a kill onto Valera and Sylvanas. And I think that this is going to be game. Like, they're going to channel. What I'd like to see them do is just go for the boss and win. With objective pushing with boss, it's GG. Like, even if they respawn in time, it's too much pressure. Instead, they're going to go for this camp, which I think is a perfectly reasonable play as well. In fact, Zagara, it looks like she's going to go back, clear it up, make sure that the suppression out. 24 seconds still on the objective. I really would have liked to see them go for boss here. I think that that was a good play because you end off of that with the bottom keep down. Top lane is being pressured though. Huge wave up here. That's a lot of ranged minions. And yeah, this mid camp does not have a wave pushing up with it, so it will get cleared up pretty easy. And that's objective for RKR, so they're in a good spot. They're going to rotate to the top lane because that's where they're pressuring. Since they're all there, though, they can't do anything to save this wave. I'd almost prefer they just push mid. But that's where the weak keep is. PK Unleashed trying to get into the backline here. Reborn Knights White getting desperate to make something happen. All that Junkrat damage is going to cause some real problems here. Lots of top lane pressure. There goes the Ragnaros ult. But yeah, they just stay at range and shell it with Zagara's Junkrat. Good throw, though. That was positionally terrible. Just an absolute bad position. And that is how you turn things around. Well done. Though, it's still probably a moot point. As they still have to clear this up somehow, and it's just not happening. So they got pulled into a long drawn-out fight in the upper lane. And unfortunately, with the objectives at 24 minutes into the game, you just can't do that. So, game 3 it is. We see RKR leverage a good macro composition into a victory here on Alterac Pass. And that's mostly what we saw here. Very good lane management from the Zagara. I like it. You know, this is a good map for it. It's a lot like Cursed Hollow, but the ability to stall out the objective on this map, given that it's always on the enemy team's side of the map, is way easier to do. So you can definitely leverage that Zagara into a lot of advantages with that. I like it. I like what they were able to do here, and I think that they played to the strengths of their comp and the strengths of this map extremely well. We will be right back, folks. Welcome back, folks, to game number 3 between Reborn Knights White and Reborn Knights Red. You know, coming into this match, the number tied for 3 seed versus the number 11, 10 or 11 seed, definitely spoke to me as a probable favor for Reborn Knights White into this matchup, and they still very well could close this out, but not with the 2-0 domination, as Alterac Pass goes in favor of Reborn Knights Red. They do manage to leverage a great macro composition into a victory, and we will be going to Cursed Hollow. This is a Reborn Knights Red pick again, as Reborn Knights went for first pick. So it's another big map, very similar in style, bosses and objectives. But the difference here is you're not always forced into a position of needing some sort of advantage, right? Because of randomization, it's going to pop on one side of the map or the other. Also, Cursed Hollow is a lot more. It's the most classic map in the pool, so it's been around the longest of pretty much any map. So lots of players and lots of teams have lots of practice on this map. So while we saw a really good drafting and great macro and leveraging those macro advantages into a win from Reborn Knights Red, on this map it could be more difficult to do so. But at the same time, it's also a lot easier to end this game with an advantage like that. And if they can get an early team fight win into a boss, into a curse, all 3 of those things kind of lining up together, you can win this game in 10 minutes. I mean, 10, 15 minutes. Rather than 25-minute match that we just got from Alterac Pass. So it'll be interesting to see how it all goes. We have a couple people in for bio at the moment. I'm ready to go, but yeah. So John Knight 1 coming out and saying game number 3 should go in favor of Reborn Knights White. I think statistically you have lots to back up that claim. But again, we have a mostly macro map, game number 1, which was won by Reborn Knights Red, or game number 2. And we have another macro map that could very well be won by the better macro team. Though I will say that Reborn Knights White had a really good rotation and great macro control over Volskaya, which is a less so, like, you have to perform in team fights in those situations, because a lot of where you get your advantage is off of the objectives, but they did a pretty good job generally staying ahead and finding those little macro advantages by taking down early forts and things like that. I mean, it's not out of this world to see a Zagara come through here in game number 3. It's definitely something that can happen. Well, I'm sure it's nice and 1 o'clock-ish on the East Coast. That's why we're West Coast. But even for us, it's 10 Pacific, 11 Mountain Time, so definitely getting up there for a cast. Just waiting for the R's to come through from Reborn Knights Red. Let's pop back up the main screen. That way you guys don't have to look at me while I scratch my nose because I'm itchy. Oh, we're getting into the game right away here. Eventually. There we go. All right, is it down to the wire on this one here? We shall see. So, do you ban the Zagara? Do you remove that macro capability out of your hands? The Junkrat was really well played too as well. Stamop got lots of value on that hero. But no, it's the boss threat with the Varian that has the most nervous. We're going to see Dahaka banned out here. Interesting. Now they do ban it. I mean, the boss threat is something serious. The camp clear is really good, and then you add Zagara's macro capabilities, it puts a lot of threat. And on this map, you know, going for safe bosses means the other team has to rotate to that side to make something happen, and that's a good thing. 2 globals being banned out though, and I think that's also a good approach to have on this map. Both Dahaka and Falstad can get tons of value here, but unfortunately those bans did allow the ETC to come through, and we saw in game number 1 that the ETC is an absolute scary pick here in the hands of Kooks. I'm hoping that they don't regret that choice there. Also, another thing you can do with ETC on this map in particular is go for stage dive, make a macro, take another frontliner hero, and there you go. You got your global covered. So the Gazlo was banned twice in this matchup. And so we got the Gazlo in game number 3 when it wasn't banned. Interesting. I like it. We've got another player that likes to play those wonky off-lane heroes, and there is the T'Pol. So Stukov is going to be picked up again on Rise, and he played that really well. He did not allow himself to get into really bad positions most of that game, which helped his team, and especially against Valera and things like that. That's a hard thing to do. So, but Kael'thas was through again, and so he's going to be making his reappearance here instead of the Sylvanas. And these are definitely comfort heroes, like big time for the side of Reborn Knights White. I expect them probably to go down the Raynor line again. Either Hanzo or Raynor will come out from DK Unleashed, I'm pretty sure. Aslo Stukov. Interesting to see what we're going to get from that. Johanna's going to be banned out. Johanna was played very well in both games. Oh wait, he only played it one game. He played Stitches in the first game. Nubarak, and Junkrat. I like the Junkrat. That worked out really well in game number 1. No reason why it shouldn't in game number 2. Noob. I don't know how I feel about a Nubarak these days. Especially since DK Unleashed is almost certainly going Raynor here. That's a problem. But I was completely wrong. He's going to go Thrall. I do think Thrall's still a really good pickup here. And that's going to be Thrall Irel. So they're really going to go for that hard to kill. And this is what we got in game number 1 too as well. Those heroes that are just going to be hard as heck to kill. ETC Irel is classic combo frontline, and Thrall Kael'thas is classic combo, and then you got a Lily, you know. But don't get me wrong, T'Pol's Lily is basically unbeaten. It is a strong pick. I like the Malthael. I think the Malthael plays very well into this comp. Lots of melees to punish. And really good into Lili. I like the Malthael. Not a lot of save tools available. And he can take things that keeps him alive, especially from Pyroblast. So here you have it, guys. We have game number 3 coming your way. Shout out in the chat which way you think the draft went, who you think came out on top, and who you think's going to clutch out the victory here between these two teams.
Prepare yourself for battle, heroes. The battle begins in 10 seconds. Your suffering will not end quickly. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Sorry, everybody. On the blue side, we have Reborn Knights White, DK Unleashed on the Thrall, Silverjack on the Kalathos, Kooks on the ETC, Elazar on the Orel. It's Paul playing Ana. On the red side, Reborn Knights Red, Mega Man Fan on the Gazlo, Ninja playing the Anubrak, Stock on the Malthael, Rise on the Stukov, and of course, Stamop on the Junkrat. So while fishing for people to attack, takes a bit of damage, but it's mostly spell damage at this moment, so he's perfectly fine. Take a quick peek at the level 1 talents, and we have extra wound timers. Huh. And they even make them little red balls. I like it. That's cool. So it's going to be Gazel, Irel in top lane, and everyone versus Stock in the bot lane. Interesting. We're all realizing there's really no point in trying to fight a Malthael, especially after level 4. It's just not going to go well for him. In the early game. Once he gets his stacks, though, and gets Ancestral Wrath, that matchup between Malthael and Thrall actually starts to favor Thrall. So. But in the early game, you definitely don't want to be 1v1ing a Malthael, especially post 4, because it's just a scary, scary thing. And of course, the fight always gets a little bit frightening once he hits 10 with Last Rites. And that's the threat of Malthael, just generally speaking. Stam up here is going to come down here instead and clear this up while Malthael goes to clear out. And I really like this rotation. This shot calling is good adjustments. When it comes down to it, Malthael is the best at taking camps. This early giant camp, though, interesting. They don't have anything push up with it. Kalathos is just going to mostly free clear this. Good mind, though, from Stamop is going to put a little bit of pressure on Silver Jackal. He's going to have to back up a bit. But still, I don't really see these giants getting anything more than a little bit of gate pressure. If he can get another mine, but it was not well placed, and that unfortunately is going to get getting a lot of pressure here. It is good. Probably focusing way too hard on that. Malthael's actually going to come in here, see if he can find some damage while they push up this mid camp. And I do like Reborn Knights Red attention to detail when it comes down to getting these camps out and finding ways to get good value out of it. Mega Man Fan, top lane is going to be able to clear this up, and as actually Stock is going to come in with the... I would have liked to see Rise go for the silence on Irel there. That would have actually made that pick a heck of a lot more viable. Should have just gone for the silence. Like, she can't do anything without her abilities. And so they do kind of make a rotation up here, but in the end, they just kind of give it to Reborn Knights Red. And now Kooks is taking a little bit of pressure, but there's really not enough damage to do anything to him at this moment. Gazlo's going to remain here in the top lane, do what he does. Gazlo thing. We're gonna see Reborn Knight White actually work here on this mid camp, and here comes the invade, though it is too late, and now this is not a favorable engagement. Doc needs to get out of here. They're looking for him. Nice dodge by Kooks. Stead's gonna go after the stam up. Nice retargeting there by Kooks. Extra wound timers. Still?
Gather tribute or face my curse. The choice is simple.
I'm still. What does it even do? Okay. Vision? Doesn't go as far. I mean, doesn't that like nerf your DPS like flat out? I don't know. I could like it's just so weird. Big engagement coming here onto Stam Up. Junkrat in a nice position to try to keep this stalled out. But Stock is getting good pressure here on Kooks, but might be in a bit of trouble now. He can heal off of this though. I think he backed out too far, to be honest. Junkrat Mine though is going to help stall this out a little bit further though. Stock cannot go in there by himself. Good boop. But it looks like they're just going to give this up. I mean, they never really were fully committing to it. Very much like we saw on Alterac Pass, it was not in a favorable position. They were just going for the stall out, and you know, they did a good job on that. That's exactly what they did. They stalled out really well, and Gazlo got some good pressure here in the top lane. We're also going to see if she can, you know, stop some of this, but this is a huge wave. It's going to do good damage on this fort, especially with the turrets firing at it. Gazlo, though, I think might have overextended himself. But he's going to get a nice little assistance there by Alizar on his retreat. That's pretty good. And now it's a favorable position. What I'd like to see Gazlo do in these situations is change gears. Don't get stuck doing the same thing. Pop down here and get a nice defensive turret wall built up. We're going to see Stock go for the camp, but as they see Kooks trying to find positioning here, he's going to pull off of that really quick. They do have the bottom camp pushing out, and that's going to be useful. Junkrat can easily pop up and clear up those camps there. So they're going to try to stall this out. But the silence pool is so well placed, but the extra... Oh no, Rise is in a bad spot though. He's going to die here, I think. They do get the objective though. And I think Kooks with Last Rites can die here, almost certainly. But we got a great mosh pit plus 1,000 or jugs came out. Oh, they didn't have 10. Oh, yeah, being aggressive there was probably not the smart play. And that's going to be a boss call. However, this is risky. They are low. Gazlo's going to pop a turret up. Yeah, even with these three, this could be a risky play. There goes Cocoon, and Irel is going to go down here. What a good play. They didn't manage to snipe it. That's going to be a boss going to Reborn Knights Red. And some of these macro plays are just not working out for Reborn Knights White. Again, on game number 2 on a big map like this, advantages are definitely in favor of Reborn Knights Red. This boss is going to get value. You got a whole nother wave coming in. They're going to clear this up relatively soon. And that thing's going to push down Keep Wall. Almost certainly. Especially with a big wave. That's huge. That's a big take. And they don't have to take this. They can. Well, they are putting a lot of pressure on the Kooks, and he actually might go down here. It is not Last Rites. We have Stuck on going for Tormented Souls. So he dies. Ninja now is going to have to Unstoppable over the wall, but he can't get away from the Urel, who lands a good Goomba Stomp over the wall. He didn't get the kill, though. Thrall, feeling like he was being outdone there, decided that he was going to sunder over the wall and secure the kill himself. Good point out, though, Echo of Elements has not been completed by Thrall yet, which is actually part of a problem. It's a bit of a problem. But... Tormented Souls. I mean, I've been seeing this build so frequently. It's so weird. Black Harvest into Tormented Souls. Kooks was looking for that Gazlo, and in fact might actually have put themselves in a terrible spot. What a play by Rise. He comes in and gets the kill. Now Gazlo did die because he was looking to grab the damage there, and he probably did no need to do so. That flailing swipe into the towers by Rise was fantastic. That is how you play that. That was so good. The gank turned into a gank for the other team. They overextended, got hit by just a great flailing swipe into towers. And as Zul Rules has already pointed out here in the chat, Stukov OP. And this is now Curse threatening. As I said, this got top keep wall. Really good for an early boss. Ninja gonna be taking some poke damage. But it is... Oh, it doesn't spread the bottom either. Very good placement there. Stam up trying to get the pressure, but he's gonna get rooted by a Thrall, and this is actually a problem. In fact, now he's out of the fight. Here comes a Mosh Pit potential onto stock. But we haven't seen... This is a good Riptire, though. It's gonna land onto Silver Jackal. He has to drop a shield to not die. He's actually even waiting out the shield. That was so patient. And only lands the Mosh Pit onto Inubarak. But now it looks like Stock might be in a bit of trouble. He does not have good silence from Rise, though. Keeps him alive. They get the pick off with the Nubarak onto Thrall. And things have gone badly for Reborn Knights White yet again. And this top keeps in big trouble. With 2 dead and Junkrat damage, this is a good spot for Reborn Knights Red to be in. Duke is going to try to zone him out. He's going to actually put the power slide in. They're going to do a pretty good job between these two of actually stopping this from happening, because the rest of the teams did go elsewhere. Mega Man Fan is the bottom lane, pushing up these Giants, which is a good play. Mid Fort's going to be taken out. And then they're just going to refocus their efforts into mid, or they're going to make the rotation bottom. Gazlo is going to live. Somehow. No, he's not. There is a Pyroblast. That's going to secure the kill. But he stalled out that fight long enough. We're going to get the kill on Thrall. And Silver Jackal is in not any better position. Though they do manage to stop the Riptire from getting damaged. So, well done there. A little bit of tit for tat. 1 for 1. And, yeah, not bad. They did lose 2 forts. And these waves are way pushed up onto keeps. All the keep walls are pretty much toast, except from bottom lane. We're going to see a interesting little rotation here from Reborn Knights Red. How quickly can they do this is the real question. Luckily for them, they're not going to immediately think they're going for this camp, so they're just going to go for the wave clear first. But they did lose the camp, which is nice. That's a good play. Boss is a real problem. 16s are in the hands of Reborn Knights Red, and in due fashion, they're going to go right for the boss. Yeah, you're not wrong, Zul. The Gazlo did fantastically in that fight. He almost died, or he did die, but like he stalled that gank out so long that the rotation came in and they secured the counter gank. You know, from turning a bad situation into a good one. And here's the rotation actually coming in from Reborn Knights Red. Can they get here fast enough? It needs to be Inubarak. He does manage to get the over the wall. And oh no, that's a really good Junkrat Riptire, but it is Nubrak that goes down. The boss does get taken, and things have gone kind of badly for Reborn Knights Red. However, despite that, they do have this boss that's going to be pushing into a core, because this is going to take the keep. They have this mid camp that's going to be pushing into the keep. Nalzar is even just going to clear this because he knows he can't do anything to stop this. So, well done. And look at this. This boss isn't going to get anything done. I don't even think they needed to go as hard or as ham as they did. In fact, doing so might have actually cost them a curse, which was way worse than losing this boss. Because worst case scenario, this takes a fort. But 10 seconds on Gazlo means it's going to be back up in time. And rotating onto this side of the map is going to be a little bit difficult with Thrall and Arel, who need to defend that boss because it was actually taking core damage.
Team's core is under attack.
So, kills are in favor of Reborn Knights White. Experience is slightly in favor of Reborn Knights Red, but they've caught up. You are going to see an aggressive play here. He's going to drop the cocoon, too, to guarantee it. Riptire's going to come out and zone things out. But now it's Gazlo in big trouble. He does drop the big stun. That might actually get the kill, but it's Pyroblast that's going to actually secure the kill on Gazlo. But they traded out the ETC and stole the camp, so I think in the end that's a net victory for Reborn Knights Red. As while Gazlo is down, the rest of their team is perfectly alive. They have spell armor that they can push in through here, and Alizar's actually in big trouble. Stock goes in a little deep, takes quite a bit of damage. And yeah, with Arel and Kael'thas, the wave clear is still really good. That camp is going to get cleared up pretty quick. It's not going to get a lot of... But it's still a good or progressive play and still got good value. One thing here is that ETC is going to be up first, but he has a longer way to go. So, Gazlo will be 10 seconds out. But again, this is another... This is an unfortunate spawn for Reborn Knights Red, to be honest. Reborn Knights White. Because it's on the other side of the map. But it's also one that they can sacrifice. They can say, hey, you know what? Let's clear up lanes. Let's push everything else up. We don't have to go in here. They're feeling confident in taking the fight. But they're not even going to make it here in time to stall out this objective. In fact, the Sundering, not even in range. It doesn't do a damn thing. So they dropped Sundering. And... Oh, no. So they just dropped Sundering. Pyroblast and Ardent Defender are still not up yet. And so this is kind of, either this is a turning point in the game for Reborn Knights White, or it's the nail in the coffin for Reborn Knights Red. One of the two. It's either, yeah, it's a turning point for Reborn Knights White, or they lose here. Some good initiations. Who's going to hit 21st is really a big question here. Neither, I guess, unless they get kills. Cocoon comes out, but maybe it's premature, although it might be good enough to get the combo they needed onto Thrall. He gets the Unstoppable, though. And those ultimates didn't do anything in a huge mosh pit, but it does get interrupted by the mine, but it might have been good enough to spread the bombs around to ult or RKR. And this is a unfortunate turn of events for Reborn Knights Red, as they're going to lose 2 heroes and the curse. Mega Man fan doing his best to stall this out, but he's going to die. That was probably an ill-advised stall. And things should turn the corner here quite a bit for Reborn Knights White. They're going to be able to push down this top fort. They do have 20s first, but that's not, it's like kind of a non-issue. But what they really want to do with this, I think, is see if they can take down this keep and then go for the boss. They get another pick, though. That's going to definitely put things into a more dire situation here for Reborn Knights, right? I mean, it still could be a victory here. I mean, this camp's going to help them siege down this keep. This keep's going to go down, and it's still going to be 25 seconds out for Gazlo to show up. So they could just take out this fort and then just go all in on the core here. I think it's a risky play, though, and one you don't have to make. No, they're just going to change their direction to see if they can pick off this keep here in the back, but that's still a bit of a... Yeah, they don't have any form of retreat here. Gazlo's going to be up very shortly here. 4 members, and look at the silence onto Kooks. Almost gets the kill, but DePaul now is in a bad position, and that's probably going to secure the kill. He goes down. That is 1 kill. If they can get more off of this stock by himself, good CC to keep him isolated, but he survives. That is 2 kills. If they can get... Actually, I think they just go boss and win. That is the unfortunate truth here. They probably could win anyways. I think they just go for the core, but it is a long way away. So it's probably better just to secure the boss now. Have Junkrat pop out here and clear up this wave. That's what they need to do. They need to clear this wave up so that it's pushing with the boss. And that'll help secure the victory. They also might instead go for a double boss play, which is still viable. They need to clear up this wave, though. Like, flat out. It has to be done. Well, they might still be able to siege up enough. I'm going to clear up these siege giants. That was a good steal by Reborn Knights White. I guarantee that they don't lose the game here for sure. There is no wave. That's good for Reborn Knights White on the defense. But they are all back here. The defense is here. This is a good boss. And every ultimate is available for both teams. There goes Cocoon onto... we're going to see the stun onto Arel, but she's probably going to be able... No, the silence comes out, but the absorb still comes in. He gets a huge heal, and that's a great mosh pit. Oh, actually not that great. It only hit 1. And the boss is still working on the core. The shield is gone. I think, actually, if RKR just all-ins here, this is the game. They just all-in on the core. This is the end of the game right here and now, and Gazlo is doing exactly that. They get the kill they need to onto Kooks. And look at that. That's going to be a victory. RKR pulling it out, getting the win, and keeping Reborn Knights White from advancing into that number 2 seed. Well done. There are your end of game statistics there for you folks. I never said there was no interview. I don't know why everyone is saying that there wasn't an interview. Unless they tell me that there's no interview. Well, let's pop over to the talent so everyone can see a quick snapshot of that before I switch over to the interview screen. Interview, interview, interview. I can say it a bunch more times if you want. Alrighty then. So we need to get rid of that. All right, switch audio. Hello, hello.
Hey,
How's it going?
that's going good.
So, you guys just seem to always clutch it through in these close matches that you're slightly not favored into. How does that victory feel?
It
Knowing
feels pretty
from
good.
personal experience being on the other end of it, of course.
Yeah, no, it feels good. I mean, we love actually RK White now, but it was great to play against them, and we pulled out some interesting moves with our sub too. Thanks, Mega, for subbing in, by the way. So it was a lot of fun.
So it was a much needed victory for you guys, actually, and you're going to be kind of squeaking yourself back up into playoff contention. Game number 1 seemed pretty heavily against you guys. Is Volskaya a map that you generally like to play at, or was it something that you kind of knew they were maybe a little bit favored into, or tell me a bit about that map and kind of how it played out.
I mean, we do like Volskaya. We understand, I think, a lot of the meta about it, but to that point, we know when we're losing pretty heavily, and sometimes it ggets a little too much of like us thinking, okay, we know exactly what they're going to do, but we know we can't do anything about it, right?
Yeah.
Volskaya is a hard map to come back on sometimes, so that's really. And it seemed like we were comeback kids today, so.
Yeah, well, the thing is and I'm going to discuss a bit about why I think you guys managed to pull off the victory here. But in game number 1, the thing about Volskaya is there are very specific points that you can make plays to get back into the game if you fall behind. And if you fail in those areas, that's when the game snowballs hard against you. It makes it very difficult. And, in both of those cases, you guys made good attempts at getting into the game, but unfortunately weren't able to find out those clutch kills. Actually, I think the Lucio made it very difficult for you guys to finish off the kills that you got very close to getting in a lot of those team fights. And I think that's mostly what turned Volskaya actually against you.
We just couldn't get those Li Ming resets, man.
Yep. But, it was still, competitive. You guys definitely put in a lot of pressure and did your best to even up things. The hook onto Kael'thas underneath the keep wall was that one shining moment where you're like, we might have a chance to pull this back. But Reborn Knights White made that great play on pressuring out mid and top lane, which made it very difficult for you guys to mount an effective defense. And then you got desperate and kind of how that game tends to go.
Yeah. No, they did a great job of just like stomping us game one, and it was a clean plays on their part.
But game 2 is a different story entirely. So you took me up on the going to Alterac, which I totally appreciate. But you know what? Man. I must have been maybe my inspiration really helped you guys here, because you guys came into that map, seemed prepared, understood quite a bit about the macro, and you pulled off a pretty convincing win, I'd say, on that map.
Yeah, I think game 1 especially taught us just like team fight is not exactly something we're going to be able to just push through. I think they just have stronger team fight than us, so we were looking at maps that were going to mean that we can fight wherever we want to, right? Like if we don't want to fight, we just go do something else. And Alterac Pass is a great one for that. Cursed Hollow is great. So
yeah, Alterac Zagara we got played, which as you guys very well know, Logical Decision is not afraid to pull out the Zagara ourselves. And I think on that map in particular, we saw where the value really comes through on it. It gave you guys lots of macro pressure, and then you combine that with Junkrat, and I think those types of hero picks really showed that you guys had a good understanding of what you wanted to do on that map in particular, and you played those strengths very well, especially with the Varian being able to kind of threaten boss and put that into their heads, made them make desperate plays that you guys took advantage of.
Yeah, I was a little worried when we actually, because we don't run that map that often, so it was really we understand the meta fairly well, but we don't play it enough to understand some of the timings on stuff. So you saw that with the first boss call that we just completely goofed up on. That's really just a call of I thought we would burn it faster and we didn't, and that's just tiny things you kind of learn as you play it more. But we adjusted pretty well on that, and I feel like we had a lot of good, strong plays for macro, and luckily that worked out for us.
Now, Stukov, were you stressed out at all with the Valera pick?
I actually don't mind Valir as a Stukov. I think Stukov has a lot of good tools to deal with the Valir burst for anybody she's actually bursting down. The tough part is the way we had our team set up was we were pretty far split because you have a Junkrat kind of far back, and then you have a lot of heavy like melee up front. So when Valera was on Junkrat, it kind of meant that my healing suffered elsewhere. But luckily with Joe and Zagara's kind of doing off their joint thing. So it's basically just Joe and Varian up front, and they did a good job of just keeping themselves alive. And of course, like Demop did a pretty good job of keeping an eye on Valera and making sure that he was at least in a place where if she had to go after him, it's, she's losing value elsewhere.
So you think watching each other's backs really helped kind of mitigate the value that she got? Because I casted the match right before your guys's with Yikes S tier versus Insomnia, and John Knight 1 took the Valera into a Twin Blades variant and just kind of wrecked him. The Twin Blades couldn't do anything.
You get the blind and everything, and it's horrible. But the problem with that is like we had enough high value targets that Valera is not going to do a great job if you're standing right next to Joe, right? Yeah. Like Variant and Joe together is kind of just a nice tight buddy system. And then that means like Stukov, I could throw out a heal up front if I needed to, but otherwise I'm sticking next to Junkrat and I'm just watching for Valera. I'll throw out a silence if I have to, just to reveal her, like do whatever it takes. Because once you reveal her, she's, a lot less useful.
Absolutely. Game number 3. We got the Gazla, which was banned 2 times prior to. Was that good scouting? Yeah. Because Mega Man fans is a sub for you guys, right? Or an off roster sub?
Yeah, Mega, I'm pretty sure, is notorious for his Gazla play.
Okay, so
he also, if you just one of the things you can do for new players is look at their profile, and he's got like a lot of games like Gazla,
gotcha.
And it shows, right? Like he's a pretty fantastic Gazla player.
Yeah, we saw the 2v1, or sorry, the Gazla 1v5 in the bot lane, and managed to live long enough to stall out the rotation so that you guys were able to at least make it a good trade 1-for-1 there in the bottom lane. What I saw from Reborn Knights White was a good, they realized what was getting them ahead in game number 1 with the macro, with the Zagara, with the variant, and they banned both those heroes out. But you guys made a quick adjustment into Malthael, Junkrat, and Gazlo, and I think you guys got great value out of those picks. As we saw, like I said, Gazlo staying alive long enough to get the rotation in, Junkrat getting a lot of those riptires to get what happened. Again, is it because Cursed Hollow is something you guys do like to play, and you just adapted those strategies kind of to both maps, and then even though they banned out the Zagara and Varian, you guys were like, well, we got a ton of other options to go with, so whoop-de-doo.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, luckily that's just kind of how it works. In the meta now, it gets a little weird, so there's a lot of high value global heroes and stuff that you can't ban them all. So if it worked in game 2, we just figured we'd go for it in game 3.
Yeah, in fact, your focus on the global was evident in the fact that you took out both Falstad and Dahaka in the first rotation. That left ETC up, and given the success of ETC so far in the league and in game number 1 against you, did that make you guys a bit nervous at all?
We were a bit nervous actually when we saw ETC. We thought he was going to go stage dive.
Yeah, that's what I was initially thinking actually at first was that, oh, well, they're going to first pick the ETC, they can offlane it, take another frontliner, and then you do have to deal with the global. But they didn't.
Yeah, I think if they went stage dive, I'm not sure it would have been more successful though, because their team fight, a lot of what bought them time in team fight was some really good, just like Mosh timing. So I'm not actually sure that stage dive was the right call. I think actually Kooks made a good call in going with Mosh instead. But when we saw the ETC, we definitely were just like, stage dive. How are we going to deal with this?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you guys did it. You're pulling ahead. You're back into that playoff contention. This was a must-win for you, absolutely. Looking forward, what do you guys think? Do you think you can clutch that number 8th seed, maybe even higher, given the remainder of your schedule?
I think it's going to be tough, but traditionally we're a very hit and miss team. I don't know what it is, but if we're on point, I feel like we can definitely take on a lot of the upcoming matches. It's just a matter of if we've got the mentality for it.
Yeah, because with this one, you guys have Who Knows Gaming, you have Soak Every Lane, and you have Uncomfortably Numb. So
yeah,
tough
a lot of tough matches coming up.
Are you surprised at all by how, what I would say, incredibly close this division is this season?
Actually, I don't think so this year, or this season, because it's very much I've played with probably a good chunk of these people before, and I've seen what they can do, and it's really, people come out and put up great games, and I think part of it is just the division itself is pretty balanced now.
Yeah.
Which is something that makes really fun games to watch, but also makes the point values a lot closer.
Oh, yeah. Anyways, I'm sure I've held you here with way too long, with way too many questions. Why don't you go ahead with the shout-outs?
I'm going to shout out to our sponsor, Reborn Knights, of course. Actually, both team sponsors, if you think about it, recently. So that was cool. It was also cool to play against our sibling team. Shout out to Acquire. They're one of the clothing sponsors for Reborn. Shout out to Mega for filling in. Did a fantastic job. And shout out to the rest of my team. They, especially after our performance earlier today, we had a bit of a rough start to the day, but we definitely pulled it through, and just seeing the mentality is much better.
Well, fantastic. Congratulations, guys, on the victory. Hope to see if you guys can clutch out a couple more upsets. I'm always watching for it.
All right. Well, thanks for casting, man.
No problem. Good night. Alrighty, folks, that's going to be it for me. End of the day, end of the stream. Thank you for joining me. If you have not already, please do hit the follow button. Of course, it's definitely appreciated if you want to biddies, subscribe, or hit the tip jar at the bottom. If you have nowhere else to put your Twitch Prime subscription, here is definitely a welcome place. Again, thank you so much for everyone being here. I do love this community and being able to cast these games for you. And they'll be posted up on my YouTube, LD Ziltoid, roughly by tomorrow. Also should be linked in with the Nexus Gaming series. Of course, they appreciate any Patreon support as well with the NGS and all of that stuff. That's it for the advertisements. Thank you so much, guys. Have a wonderful night.